We're just starting service right now for lunch. We have 78 on the books right now. Lunch is always very quick. We just fire 2 gnocco frito, 1 3-piece, 1 4-piece gnocco. We do with prosciutto di Parma, 24 mesi, 24 months, mortadella from Bologna, and we finish with guanciale right now, which is really beautiful. 19, 19. Okay, you're going with them on 17, 11, and then B4, okay? Cipollotto, seasonal greens, gramigna, uovo, strozzo freddi, tagliatelle. You're waiting just tagliatelle right now, right? Now I'm waiting on 1 gnocco fritto, 2 gnocco fritto all day, yeah? Andiamo, vai pure. 17. Runners, please. Ho lavorato la maggior parte della mia vita in cucina in Italia, and it became, the basis, the fundamental part della mia cucina, specialmente qua in New York. So for me, it was really important to have this experience in Italia, because I'm an Italian chef, trained over there, bringing it here into the States, bringing it to New York, and we started with Rezdora, 6 years ago. When we talk about Rezdora, we talk about la pasta fresca, pasta al uovo, and for me, it was incredibly important to bring that tradition here done well, right, in the States, because it's been done before, but we want to just bring it to the next level, right? We wanted to give respect to the nonnas by putting the name of the restaurant and basing the cuisine that is based around Emilia-Romagna, Rezdora's dialect for that, for the head of the household in Emilia-Romagna. We have 9 different doughs that we're working with right now, 27 different shapes of pasta. When we roll the pastas by hand, and then we start sheeting everything, right? And we talk about making, tortelli piacentini, cappelletti, tortelloni, tortellini, tagliatelle, tagliolini, strichette, reginette, pappardelle. The list can go on and on. So let's talk about the idea behind contemporary and then traditional pastas at Rezdora, for example. So the idea was, how do we bring back this form, this beautiful form, tortelli piacentini, and put it on the menu to give it, another life here in the States. Look at the color; it's unbelievable, right? I mean, you don't find these anywhere in the States like this. It's so beautiful. I have a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, okay? That helps with elasticity, okay? And now we're going to go with the whole eggs. The whole reason why I went back to Italia to go cook full time is because I was cooking Italian food here in the States, and just it wasn't like the food I was eating when I was growing up and going over there, and with the exception of 1 or 2 chefs at the time before I went over there that were making Italian food here, I didn't see the same type of food that got me really excited when I first tasted tortellini in brodo in Bologna, for instance, when I was 7, 8 years old. I left California and I moved back to Italia full time per lavorare in Modena. Ho lavorato per due grandi maestri là, and then Piemonte in a small village called Canale, where I learned like classic Piemontese cuisine in a village with 3,500 people, where I get to work through white truffle season. Per me è stata un'esperienza incredibile to have that like incredible ability to be able to be in the middle of an Italian kitchen, super busy like it was during white truffle season, helped put everything in full circle while I was here and came to open Rezdora in New York City. In the Stati Uniti, you have to start at 5 o'clock, 1 turn at 5, finishes to 6:37, another at 7, another seating at 7, that finishes 8:39, and then often another seating at 9:30 that finishes around 11. Che finiamo abbastanza tardi, però è un'altra modo di vivere. So we have the pasta gialla here. For the machine, we have more egg yolks because we laminate our dough. We want to have somewhat of an al dente texture with the fresh pasta. It's really important. Tortelli piacentini, classic from Piacenza, right? It's one of the shape, the filling, the sauce, everything is so classic from the area, because I have a friend that used to work with me from the area, and so I used to go visit him with his grandma and nonna. They have amazing pancetta in Piacenza, but also these tortelli piacentini, which you just don't see. I have a filling of ricotta parmigiano and a little bit of spinach. noce moscata, okay? Ottavio's going to play right now the Tortelli piacentini. We're going to do with a puree di spinaci on the base, spinach puree. And then we have burro rosolato con salvia, brown butter and sage. Classico. Come take a look at the, like we say in Italiano, la mantecatura. You see how beautiful the glaze is? Always brown butter, nice and emulsified, nothing broken. And then we're going to lay that on top of the spinach. Just has a little bit of scalogno inside, some shallot, and then spinach, and a bit of noce moscata, yeah? A little bit of nutmeg. And we're going to plate 7 of the best tortelli. So we have the spinach puree, the ricotta with the tortelli piacentini, and then parmigiano fonduta on top, in sifone però. We talk about the contemporary Rezdora. All the chefs and the cooks, when we first opened, were like, who is this? Who's this guy making, like, you know, the name of the dish, Grandma Walking Through the Forest, until they heard the story behind it. Okay, so this is our spinach pasado. We cook the spinach in boiling salted water, and then we blanch it, and then we send it through a blender. We blend it really fine with egg yolks, whole eggs, okay? And then it becomes like a really beautiful paste, and then we do the exact same impasto that you saw me do earlier, right? With the yellow pasta gialla, with the yellow dough, the exact same thing. Now we have to really push for service because we have a lot of cappelletti to do. They're braising the leeks upstairs, right? And then they're getting the filling ready. The filling is a 2-day process. We braise the leeks, then we reduce the braising liquid, and then we spin everything, we blend everything together.
Qui abbiamo rosolato i nostri porri con un po' di burro, dopodiché andiamo a sfumare con un po' di vino bianco. Facciamo ridurre un po' il vino e aggiungiamo un po' di brodo di pollo. Aspettiamo che tutto si scioglie bene, dopodiché questo liquido andiamo ad aggiungere ai porri qui, che vanno cucinati per 2 ore e mezza in forno. Immergiamo bene nel liquido, che non si bruciano. Corbiamo bene con la carta stagnola e li mettiamo a forno sempre per 2 ore e mezza. Forno più o meno a 320 gradi Fahrenheit.
The story was based on my Sundays during my time off in Modena. At that time I was working 6 days a week, 18-hour days, busy all the time, running. And so Sunday, then I used to go to this house of this nonna, just in the colline modenese, like in the hills of Modena. And she used to braise, I'll never forget this, she braised leeks for me, and then we went out to the back to find porcini, salvatici, they're just growing in the forest behind her house. These amazing memories just brought me full circle. She was from Romagna, and so we did cappelletto verde, filled with braised leeks. How do you create that memory and then give homage to her here in New York City? And it's now become the most popular dish ever at Rezdora. We can't take it off anymore. So. You have the mezzaluna right now, the half moon. Okay. So the idea is you get a bite with the butter, the leeks, and then you have the beautiful form of the cappelletto. All'inizio era un scherzo, no? Todo, ¿qué es este gramma? ¿Qué es este gramma? We do a green spinach cappelletto, right? And then you have the beautiful dark brown mushroom puree on the base, and then inside you have these braised leeks that take us 2 days to do. Everything gets reduced, and the leeks are really rich, right? And you have a little bit of butter inside, parmigiano, and then acidità, a lot of acidità, apple vinegar at that, right? So we have all the filling that gets braised, and then it gets spun or it gets pureed together, and then cooked down some more, and then we add this like really intense acidity that to me was super interesting, because the acidity is that thing that kind of brings it to the contemporary world of pasta fresca. So that's what we try to do. We're trying to showcase the complexity and the regionality of Italian cuisine, right? And how do you do Emilia-Romagna here, pasta all'uovo, and then go right down next door at Massara, which is focused on cuisine from Campania. here, we have more vegetables, you know, we have more seafood because it's very coastal there, right? We have cooked over the wood-burning grill, branzini, scampi, langostino, c'è spigola. Sono le piccole cose che sono molto diverse tra Campania e Emilia-Romagna. We're going to talk about extruded pasta. Fresh pasta that's extruded that we make in-house downstairs. Different recipe from pasta all'uovo. Fresh pasta versus dried pasta, it's not that one is better than the other, right? I think that's like a big misconception, right? Dried pasta as a whole is an amazing product, right? If you do dried pasta and you talk about the condimento, because think about if you're in Gragnano, for instance, and you have this pasta that's been drying, you know, by law for 24, 48 hours very slowly, right? And then it's packaged and it has the rough edges because it's like extruded to a bronze die and really beautiful to bring the sauce or the condimento to attach itself to the condimento. The idea behind having a little bit of doppio zero inside is you get the extra kind of chewiness that we really like, right? So the semolina gives you that al dente texture that you want, but that extra chewiness you get from the doppio zero. Spaghetti, vermicelli, dipende dove sei, che è diventato veramente bello bello. Facciamo il nostro piccolo nido. This just goes in the fridge. This never gets dried out. It goes in the fridge just like this. So you have the qualities of dry pasta made fresh with a little bit of doppio zero. So you get a little bit of chewiness to it with the al dente bite. It's a texture that's really beautiful, yeah? So here the team at Massara, he is led by Antonio Bellocco. Now, his name was, ever since his family came from Calabria 2 generations ago, is now Anthony Bellic.
Fire 405. Fire 105 with a scapeche and a parm, man.
Anthony is fantastic. We've been working together for 5.5 years. He's extremely talented. He's going to be part of the pasta fredda process that we're going to be doing shortly.
We're preparing a gamberi rossi brodo for tonight's service. First, we're going to start with white wine, fennel, onion, carrots, and celery. We're going to add no fat. It's going to be super clean, super clear. We're not toasting the vegetables. We want to keep the brodo as clear and as clean as possible. So I had the gamberi rossi shells in the oven for about 20 minutes, and now I'm going to pull them and add them to the brodo. We put them in the oven to toast them just to kind of draw out some of the moisture, just kind of clarify them a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to add 10 liters of cold water right into the pot. And now we're going to cook it down and reduce it by half. And once it's half reduced, we're going to pass it through a chinois and cool it down. So it's getting close to service, so we had to move downstairs. The brodo has reduced by half. Now we're going to take it and we're going to buzz it up in the VitaPrep really, really nicely. And then we're going to pass it in a really, really nice reduced stock. And now it's ready to go and it'll be ready for service tonight.
Le pizzette le facciamo con il lievito madre che arriverà di Campania 35 anni fa con la mia famiglia, no? Questo è il base dell'impasto. Questo è stracciatella con pomodoro di datterini, prosciutto crudo, parmigiano rucola, è il mio preferito. Chef Tony right now is going to go through the process of making the pasta fredda, the cold pasta. So we're in the middle of service at Massara right now. You saw Rezdora this morning, Massara here at PM. Chef Tony, he just dropped the pasta. He's going to finish up the pasta fredda. So we're reducing the bisque that you just saw being made.
I'm going to pull the spaghetti and add it to the bisque. And now we're just going to tighten up the sauce and get a nice glaze on it. We just coat it really quickly, and now we're gonna cool it.
So you see, you call this one we serve, people have antipasto too, and pasta course, and then sometimes secondi as well. I mean, it's just beautiful because it's just cold right now. And one of those things is so hot outside, and you have a beautiful cold pasta with all the fresh seafood, it's like, vinto.
I think it's ready to go. We'll add the rest of the ingredients now. We're gonna add a little bit of almond milk, a little bit of the tomato water that we make, and a little bit of finishing oil. And then we'll start to saute it a little more. Okay. And now we're gonna plate it up. That's it. Make a little bird's nest. And finish it with a little more sauce. Chef Fredda, ready?
Ok, questa è la pasta fredda, ok? Di finire dobbiamo mettere un po' del basilico in polvere. C'è adesso ricci di mare e il gambero rosso che dobbiamo condire con leggermente un po' del succo di limone. Finire con un figlio di olio d'oliva. Questa è la nostra pasta fredda. The sauce that goes with pasta is called a condiment for a reason. It's a condiment. It shouldn't be the star, right? The pasta is always the most important thing. And I say that because I like my, you know, my hands, my hair is like rise up on my arm, you know, like you get goosebumps, like we say, because in the States, especially here, people always talk about the sauce and they concentrate on the sauce. And it should be a marriage of the both, right? You need a pasta that stands up to sauce like that or condimento like that, right? So you need something like with semolina that has the al dente texture, the bite, that can stand up to a beautiful allo scoglio or you know, la classica vongole de lupini con aglio olio, una cosa semplice, no?
Then we have a little sofrito of Castelvetrano olives, parsley, and garlic. I'm gonna sweat that down.
207.
Then we're gonna add our clams. These are lupini from Italy.
There's a style that we do called risottato downstairs, right? Where we take a spaghetti in vongole, we cook half of the time in boiling water, and we put the other half of the time in the pan with more water, okay?
So it's starting to get creamy. It's starting to coat the pasta.
The starch that comes out of the spaghettini is so beautiful and emulsifies the sauce, and la mantecatura è una cosa incredibile quando deve aggiungere un po' di olio d'oliva alto livello, alla fine spacca e diventa come una salsa incredibile.
It's nice and creamy. It's well coated. It almost looks like we put butter in there, but we didn't. Okay, chef, spaghettini vongole.
Spaghettini vongole, grazie. Ok. Olio d'oliva. Noi finiamo con un po' di mollica, ok? Ci siamo, bravo. Com'è la pizza margherita? È già pronto? Spaghettini, vongole, con lupini, mediterraneo. We couldn't be more excited and more happy to invite Italian Squisita. Sono molto orgoglioso di essere parte della nostra cultura qua negli Stati Uniti e di spingere la nostra cultura avanti nel modo giusto. Grazie Italian Squisita, grazie a tutti i grandi chef che mi hanno insegnato delle cose incredibili nella vita e grazie a tutti voi. Vi aspetto qua a New York, a Massara per la pasta secca, a Rezdora per la pasta fresca. È stato un grande piacere. Grazie.